Welcome everybody to another edition of TEW 2020 here as we're continuing our WCW 2004 series for WrestleWar. But before we do that, I got a quick announcement. Basically, as the subscriber numbers go up, views are really good. I do want to check the general temperature of the people who are actually watching the videos, because obviously people do comments, but basically most comments are directed at the general channel itself. So not always knowing who's watching what, who's not watching what people are possibly interested in. So what I've done is created a quick couple question Google form here, just to see what series people are actually watching, which series is your favorite, which was following, which is your least favorite, and other fun questions like that. It's just 5 quick questions, a couple, where you're just checking all apply, one where you're choosing, but in general, I just want to get the general feeling of the people who are watching. So I'm going to be basically pushing this through, for all my videos. So whichever series you're watching, whether it's this one, my MLW one, all of them. Only a couple, some of them, just go ahead. It'll take, takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes to go through, answer how you feel. There's a spot for other comments, just feeling. Because again, I just, as things continue on, and because I do enjoy doing this, obviously. I mean, hell, you see how many videos I put up, and what kinds of stuff I actually do. So because I spend way too much time in this game. But regardless. So just go ahead, fill that out, and, I'll take things into account, whatever feels, for the future of the channel. Obviously, I'm going to continue doing this, but just, obviously, what people actually want, Obviously, there's what I want to do, but, obviously, gotta give that a little balance. But, that's it for now, so just go ahead and, fill that out, and that's it. So, but let's get back to the actual pay-per-view. So we'll be back with that in just a moment. So, as you saw with the, thumbnail for this video, I have a fun little, grindhouse slash war style, quote unquote, poster for this, for this show. As as basically, I got the idea basically because part of it is we're in New Jersey, so there's not a great skyline to put in the background. But basically, and also I just had the fun idea based on the storyline here, because storyline is basically Mesias is a monster. He's coming to destroy Eddy Guerrero, and is there anything Eddy can do about it? And we sort of do that sort of grindhouse style opening, put over footage of just Mesias destroying people, including Sean O'Hare last month, and basically have put up the idea of can anybody stop this man? Can anybody not is there any way Eddy Guerrero can survive tonight's match with Mesias? And this gets an 85, and then we go to our opening match, which has in a decent match, which is just a pure high, just moves, just your opening sort of X Division style, high spot style, super match to start the show, as Hart Legacy of Jack Evans and Teddy Hart defeat America's Most Wanted in 11:05 when Jack Evans pins James Storm with a sudden 101. This gets a 74. Jack Evans gets a 72. Teddy Hart gets a 66. James Storm gets a 68. Chris Harris gets a 68. So good, very big win for Hart Legacy, the former tag champs, over another set of former tag champions as they get solid win. Teddy Hart and Natty are a good pairing, but Jack Evans and Natty are not good pairing. Also, I brought in Natty up just for its pay-per-view, because in theory, Natty should be on all these shows, but sometimes I just forget, because, she's still in DeVev, because she's not quite, over enough or quite good enough in the ring to actually be part of the women's division, at least for now. So this gets a 74, and then everybody, Hartley celebrating afterwards gets a 56. So good stuff. Then we move forward to the next big match on the show. Wow. Okay, they should have been higher up on the show. Good job, guys. In a bout that had superb wrestling and great heat, Jeff Hardy defeats Morningstar in 15-11 by pinfall with Swanton Bomb. So, this is high U.S. Pro style, high impact, high action match. Hardy kills himself on a bump, of course. Christina's probably takes a cool bump. But, suplexes, big dives, big moves. By the end, Jeff Hardy, is the experienced veteran who has the, who is willing, to, do whatever to win, to put his body on the line, and he's just a little bit better, and, hits the Whisper in the Wind, goes up top, hits a Swanton Bomb, and gets the 1-2-3 over Morningstar for the big victory over the Deadpool charismatic Liger. So a big win for the charismatic Igniga Jeff Hardy, as this gets a 90, like I said. And Hardy gets a 86. Morningstar gets an 86. Huge win. And yet, a big win for Hardy. And Hardy celebrates afterwards to a 71. So yeah, honestly, part of why I put on the second match show was because I was kind of worried. I was, not worried about, this was a good spot for the match. But honestly, I would have put it higher up if I knew it was going to get a 90. Anyway, so we go into our next match. Billy Kidman comes out, being his arrogant self. And then we go to the back for Goldberg's entrance. But as Goldberg, is walking through the, backstage area, Awesome and Storm try to attack him. But, Goldberg is basically ready. He throws Storm into, a random, catering table. He, fights off Awesome before WC officials and the cops basically drag them off. And then Goldberg sends to the ring. And I can sort of imagine, there's a quick shot to Kidman, who, of course, this was the plan, who just sort of gulps and is now very worried because Goldberg is now upset and is coming out to kill him. So let's get to 74. And then the actual match is, and, we'll get to that in just a second. Goldberg, Kidman is ready, knows what's happening. So Kidman does a dive out on Goldberg, but Goldberg catches him, and, well, bad things happen. So this is 8 minutes, but it's basically a almost complete squash. Kidman, hits, gets a little bit of a heat-sipping hit back, but this is just Goldberg throwing around Kidman until eventually, the booking was weird because I thought I booked it for, yeah, okay, I guess I did too many finishes. All right, that's unfortunate. Oh, I forgot to set it up as a DQ finish. I'm a moron. Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, so it says here, tweets Kid in my account, but what happens here is basically, Lance Storm does try to run, but Goldberg destroys him, but eventually Awesome comes in and just, drills Goldberg from behind and feels the ref. Ref calls for the DQ, as this match gets an 80. Overall, Goldberg gets a 94, Kevin gets an 88. I can only match because the match was short. Yeah, short match length, and yeah, okay. And then post-match, it's another 3-1 beatdown, as Goldberg tries to fight, but Awesome, Storm, and Kidman just leave him laying until WCW officials come out, and this gets a 79. As the Heat, Goldberg is not going to be happy about this. And just as a quick booking note, sometimes you have to do things like that because I want Goldberg on the show because he's our guy, and he brings in more people and he sells lots of merch. But I don't want him involved in the main event stuff right now for obvious. I don't want to say it for obvious reasons, but for he can't be, he has a spot. It's not a main event spot. I have plans for him for the second half of the year, but this is sort of something interesting because the whole triumvirate would obviously have issues with Goldberg for how he got Sharpe the card. Well, these guys got quote unquote held down. But anyway, beat down, and yeah. Fans don't have to be happy, but they know Goldberg's about to, murder some fools. We have the next match as in a superb match. Chuck Palumbo defeated Shane Helms in 14-12 by pinfall with a full throttle following interference from Ric Flair. And also we had the match, Gante's attack Palumbo. So, 82, so good match. Back and forth match, Palumbo doing his, pro-style power stuff, Helms doing his cheating, pref bump. Gigante comes in and helps his, employer Shane Helms. But, he hits a choke slam, but Helms is still down, so by the time he recovers, Helms, goes for the pinfall victory, but Palumbo barely kicks out. Ref is still sort of out of it, as Helms gets up, but then Ric Flair comes in, hits a low blow on Helms, while the ref is just distracted by checking on Palumbo, because he's, still hurt, but barely gets, is able to get the, is still, hurt from the attack by Gigantes. Helms eats the low blow. Palumbo recovers, hits his full throttle, gets the 1-2-3 over Helms, and now Flair has paid back Palumbo for Palumbo stepping in and taking the guitar shot from Jarrett on the Nitro. So this gets in 81. Helms gets an 83. Really good match, and good one for Palumbo. And Palumbo and Stacey celebrate afterwards to a 71. Then we have our big US title match as... Okay, So this makes so it says attacking rage, but basically what happens here is about that good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Keenan Sharpe in 12:53 when Keenan Sharpe got disqualified. So what happens here is again back and forth match. Keenan cheats, but he's like trying to keep Rey Jr. grounded, and basically what happens is Rey Keenan gets the advantage. He locks him sort of like armbar / knee bar type submission into the ropes. And, ref counts at 5, wants Keenan, well, first, ref wants Keenan to break it. Keenan keeps it on, sort of like breaking the whole idea of him just being this calm, person on the path of a higher place, that he's sort of been pushing for the past couple weeks since his debut. But Sharpe keeps the hold on, ref counts to 5, ref DQs Sharpe, so Rey Jr. keeps the title, as this match gets an 84, Rey gets an 87, Sharpe gets a 67, and post-match, Keenan Sharpe keeps the hold on, but until Chavo comes down and makes a save, which means, Sharpe rolls off, and, still acts like a heelish prick, and Chavo helps Rey up as this gets a 73. Good stuff. Now it's time for our second title match, as the match gets a 79, as about that good wrestling decent from the crowd. AJ Styles defeats Jushin Liger in 15-7 by pinfall. The Styles Clash. AJ Styles makes defense number 1 of the Cruiserweight title. This gets a 79. AJ Styles gets an 83. Liger gets a 74. Was there anything... Yeah, odd face heel combination, but that's about it. But, great, fantastic match. Styles and Liger, Liger basically plays subtle heel. If you've seen Liger play heel, he can really do it. So it's kind of dickish. Styles comes from underneath, but eventually Styles is able to hit a few hot moves, hit the Styles Clash, and get the 1, 2, 3 over the Cruiserweight legend. As this gets to 79. And post-match, Liger bows to Styles, as this is basically it for Liger. Realistically, he's full-time New Japan. This has been a fun little run for Liger, since he came back when the Cruiserweight title dropped Styles, and now he really puts over Styles as, the guy here in the Cruiserweight division, and now he's done and can go back and wrestle in New Japan, as this gets a 73. And then it's time for our next big title match, as in a decent match, which gets a 78, that's better than decent to me. The Silver City Rollers of Reno and Cash defeat Jason, Jett, and Paul London in 12:27 when Reno pins Paul London with the roll of the dice to win the WCW World Tag Team titles. So notice this is completely clean. Jett and London, are a really good tag team. They fight well, hit their big moves, but Reno's, a little bit stronger, a little bit better. Silver City Rollers have been teaming for longer, and in the end, they're just a slightly better tag team. London gets trapped, in the ring for too long. Reno's able to hit the roll of the dice. Cash comes in, knocks Jett out so he can't make the save. And 1, 2, 3 new tag team champions. Cash gets a 70, Reno gets a 65, London gets a 76, Jett gets a 69. And yeah, honestly, I've been kind of under pushing Silver City Rollers for the past couple months. I sort of need a, the whole end of the year stuff last year where it was basically AMW, Air Raid, and Hart Legacy Training Tag Titles was fun as far as sort of a pure work rate thing, but this is a good storyline thing, and build Silver City Rollers as sort of a top, as as part of the what could be considered the top heel group at the moment with Helms as Helms Legacy. Well, there's the Deadpool, but there's I guess the second biggest heel group. Triumphant would also have a lot to say about that. But still a big one for Silver City Rollers, as and then they celebrate with Amber O'Neil, Cash's main squeeze, with the tag team titles, as this gets a 66. And then it's time for really 4 matches you could actually consider quote-unquote a main event and the women's world title match. So I'm going to describe the next match first just because there's a lot going on. So it's Canaan versus Vampiro. Vampiro comes down, huge heel heat because he's still part of the top heel group. Canaan gets down, he gets the cocky face pop. So back and forth match, US Pro style match. Vampiro gets his heel stuff in, but, Canaan's fighting back, gets a cannon cutter. Vampiro gets foot on the ropes. Vampiro hits the nail in the coffin, but, Vampiro, but it's too close to the ropes as well. Canyon cheats a little, which gets a face pop because it's, a former heel cheating as a baby face, so that's always a fan favorite. But in the end, Morningstar comes down, to interfere, but Vampiro actually gets distracted by him. He basically yells at Morningstar, says, I have this, which gives Canaan enough time to recover, hit the flatliner, and then hit the Canyon Cutter for the 1, 2, 3 for the huge victory. As an exceptional match, Canyon defeated Vampiro in 2024 by pinfall at the Canyon Cutter after a distraction from Morningstar. As this gets a 92, Canyon gets a 94, Vampiro gets an 81, and a huge win for Canyon, and yeah, there you go. And Canyon celebrates afterwards to a 68. So, then, it's time for our second big match, as it's Jeff Jarrett versus Flair. Horsemen explode. Now just for Canyon, is in the back, recovering after his match. So it's Jarrett and Flair 1-on-1, and it's a not an old school style match, but a very I wouldn't call it I wouldn't exactly call it a really old school, but more early to mid 90s, so not a bunch of hot moves, but Jarrett being just a tremendous prick heel, Flair fighting from underneath, eventually getting hot, and of course because he's a babyface, he actually hits a move from the top rope, but that move from the top rope knocks out the ref, and as Flair gets up, somebody slides in the ring and hits him with a big move. It's the ref, the announcers can't get hold of him, and he's sort of surprised. But Jarrett is still out after getting knocked down, and Flair slowly gets up when Mark Jindrak comes out, and he comes in the ring without Don Marie. He's all on his own. Comes in, hits the Mark of Excellence on Flair, and that's just enough to allow Jarrett to get up, hit the stroke, and get the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, really big win, and as Jarrett celebrates, Jindrak celebrates with him, and the other person also celebrates as Mike Tenay, because he would be the guy who says he recognizes him as Ray Gordy, a second-generation wrestler, the son of Terry Gordy, who has seemingly come up from our developmental territory and W Wildside and helped Jeff Jarrett win this match. So we have some gimmick changes to make. So Jeff Jarrett now has the Chosen One gimmick, as this gets a very good. Mark Jindrak's gimmick is now Chosen Combat, which gets an adequate. Okay, not the end of the world. And Rick Gordy's gimmick, a second-generation scoundrel, gets a great. So there you go. And yeah, just these people have come out and helped Jarrett in a shocker. A match itself gets an 87. Jarrett gets an 84. Flair gets an 84. And Jarrett runs off with Gordy and Jindrak to a 73. As the announcers, put over the shock that Mark Jindrak has seemingly helped, announcers put over, where's Sean Stasiak, where's Don Marie, why is Ray Gordy team up with Jeff Jarrett, all this stuff, as they, cockily celebrate as and hit it back, and it's a 73. So now it's time for the Women's World Title match, which I admit I kinda fucked over. So I thought we would overheat the show, so I put it as a work the crowd. Unfortunately, match was where we placed, crowd was already hot and didn't need working, so I think I should have put it as calm the crowd. See, sometimes you do dumb things. Even I, who have spent a zillion hours in these games, sometimes make mistakes. Anyway, in about that subpar wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, ouch. Nikita Kalt defeats Celine Cartier and Angel Foxx in 10:38, when Kalt pins Celine Cartier with a quick roll-up, and Kalt wins the Women's World Title. So the finish here is Angel Foxx has actually hit the Angel Snap move, which is sort of like a modified neck snap cutter type move, DDT, on Cartier. But Kalt comes in, knocks Foxx to the outside, hits a sort of wacky, European-style roll-up on Cartier, probably holds the tights, and gets a 1, 2, 3 to win the title. So Cartier gets a 62, Kalt gets a 56, Foxx gets a 54, so probably without the this would have got mid-50s, which is fine. And post-match, Kalt celebrates with the title to a 64. So I think, honestly, partially she was over from the developmental, but also I think I've gotten her very quickly over, as in a couple months she's gone from, basically debuting to becoming the Women's World Champion. So big win for Kalt, even if I screw up the booking a little bit. Now it's time for our semi-main event as Booker T in a fucking 90... Wow, okay. So think of the best possible Booker RVD match. Like, I don't even... Like, honestly... Like, I would think this is, like... Yeah, just as, like, everybody... Like, Booker being a perfect prick heel, RVD coming from behind babyface, you know, lots of high-flying moves, lots of spots, you know, probably some sort of huge move, you know, RVD hitting the Van Terminator, Booker T hitting a huge superplex, you know, big storylines, Sharmell not getting involved, but in the end, RVD, actually, yeah, I think what happens here is, you know, it looks like Booker's going to win, Booker misses the axe kick, RVD hits a non-chair Van Daminator, hits the sort of like split-legged moonsault, goes up top, 5-star frog splash, Booker barely gets the knees up, hits the axe kick, RVD slowly gets up, tries to fight out of the bookend, actually does it, but RVD, like, you know, misses a big move, Booker's able to bookend again, 1, 2, 3, clean in the middle of the ring, Booker with a huge victory, as this gets a 99, wow, Booker gets an 84, RVD gets a 90, so yeah. So yeah, you can get a 99, and it's a really hot storyline, really good work, and yeah, post-match Booker and Sharmell celebrate, so this gets a 74. So a huge, like, yeah, big win for Booker, as since his heel turn, he's been very hot. And he gets a big win over his former friend RVD. So now, Mesias makes his entrance, it's scary, it's, you know, it's Mesias, he gets 72. Eddy gets a 68 as he comes out, and then the actual match. So, like, you know, this is, you know, this only goes about 15 minutes, and it's, you know, Eddy's still the world champion, so he's not going to be a lamb led to the slaughter here. He fights back. He brawls. You know, he grew up in Mexico. He, you know, not grew up in Mexico, but, you know, he was raised in the wrestling rings of Mexico, so he can brawl with, you know, he's had his brawls, he's had his fights, but Mesias is a monster. He throws around Eddy. He hits Eddy with a choke slam, but, you know, Eddy finally fights back. You know, Eddy brawls his own. Eddy gets a big dive on Mesias. It wipes out Morningstar, basically makes him persona non grata for you know, what seemingly for the rest of the match. And Eddy is fighting back. He gets Mesias up for a huge suplex. He gets him up for another one. But on the third one, Mesias fights back. You know, big power bomb. Goes for the crucifix power bomb, but Eddy fights back, rolls up, gets the near fall. And then, you know, the ref, you know, as again, Eddy's foot, you know, knocks out the ref accidentally. And then that allows Morningstar to come in, recover, drill Eddy with the title, and it looks like it's all Sorotes, as Eddy, you know, as Mesias hits the crucifix powerbomb, but the ref is still out. But then, out of nowhere, out comes Sean fucking O'Hare, who slides in from behind, kick, wham, Widowmaker on the chair, on Mesias. He drills Morningstar with a clothesline on the outside to lay him out, and then Eddy slowly recovers. He gets up. Mesias is flat, you know, flat on his stomach. He goes up top. Frog splash on Mesias because he's so worried about Mesias recovering. He doesn't even worry about turning around. He slowly turns him over. Ref is recovering. 1, 2, 3. Eddy retains. Now, wow. Okay. Back to freaking back. Like, this is what I'm talking about. But yeah, huge win. Eddy gets a 90. Caesar gets a 91. And then, post-match, Eddy and O'Hare celebrate in the show. This gets an 81. So let's finish the show. 98 overall. So, okay. Jesus. Okay, so, because they lost. You see his great performance. And what was better than okay, actually, yeah. Jeff Hardy. So yeah, back with post-show stuff, and Some other, because this was an interesting week in the game just because a lot of wacky stuff happened. So I'll be back with that in just a moment. All right, so let's just see the post-show match. So yeah, I'll go over that stuff in a minute. Okay, so hey, nobody. Okay. Um, so I just want to make sure. Like, yeah, that was our best show. And okay, so Eddy was slightly better than Booker RVD. Wow. I mean, let me just okay. See, this is so sad. Like, cause at the matches. I would put him over. Let me just check out Mesias. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Mesias. Let's see here. Yeah, he dropped slightly, but yeah. And also, let's just see here. Booker. That's Bobby Heenan, not Booker. I was like very confused there for a second. Yeah, big boost for Booker. Let's see here. Is there anybody else I really care about their overness after last? I mean, let me just see here. AJ, I'm going to guess is yeah, he's getting really over. Anybody else of note? Hardy's getting decently over. Okay, so let me just check out our creative. So creative wise, Goldberg, RVD, Eddy, Rey, King. So Booker's not quite in here, but he's also babyface. So that's interesting. Yeah. Merch wise, just so you guys can see, yeah, like again, Goldberg 5 million, Canaan 1.2 million. So that's the difference. But yeah, and obviously this is sort of, but yeah, as a new stable, we have the chosen few of Jeff Jarrett, Mark Jindrak, and Ray Gordy. So you'll hear more about that on Nitro, obviously. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys some wackiness with all the events that have happened over the past couple of days, past 7 days. Just been lots of like big shows. So let's just see here, news wise. Reset. Let's see here, results. This month, and yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. So let's see here, that's Friday. Yeah, okay, so if we go back to Monday, okay, so yeah, was it? Yeah, let me see here. Okay, so I think so. First, again, just show what I'm doing because remember, I'm booking Raw because it's a lead at WrestleMania, and as everybody knows who's been following this series for a while, I take over the booking of WWE to lead up to WrestleMania and SummerSlam, just because those are big shows, and I don't want the AII to totally make them screwy. So we've got Raven going to no contest with Al Snow as Radicals and APA come in to set up the 6-man here. Kevin Nash defeats Crash Holly. Jillian Hall defeats Jackie Gata, and then Jillian sings. Leviathan, Batista kills Viscera, then comes out to brawl with them. As again, I'm trying, because the AI can't do it, I'm trying to get Leviathan over, and then if he isn't, then well, there you go. Molly Holly did a promo to set up a match with Trish Stratus at WrestleMania. Team Angle, which is Kurt Angle, Billy Gunn, and Christian, defeated Jerry Lynn and the Outcast, who are tag champions, which of Rhino and Tommy Dreamer. Yeah. Paul Bearer came out basically to hype up, that the Undertaker will, face Kurt Angle at Mania. Benoit defeated Richards. Benoit keeps the hold on. Hall and Rigo made safe because Hall, Rigo, and Richards are in a goofy babyface stable. Edge mocks Michaels WrestleMania moments in basically a long promo. And then the main event, Steve Austin defeated Chris Jericho. And then Cornette's 8-8 a stunner. So there you go. But then we also had, let's see here, our weekly house show for our Death Fed as Ringman defeated Claudio. Trevor Rhodes and Stone Mountain defeated the Cole Brothers. So Keith Walker and the Vanguard defeated Killswitch and Rage Inc. We had, let's see here, Johnny Devine defeated Chris Rambola. Marcus Militek, who is again a region guy, defeated Ray Gordy. And Gordy's goodbye from our Death Fed. Prince Nana defeated Shannon Ballard. And yeah, Adam Jacobs defeated Bray Lepen and Lazarus. So that's 61. There's something else wacky. Oh yeah, so New Japan had their big show, which was held in Tokyo Dome, which, oh well. So to go over this interesting show, Win Katamura defeated Koki Kikihara. Super Dominican defeated Ensign Anui. Ken Shamrock defeated Big Vito in a 58. So just imagine that. Ken Shamrock versus Big Vito in New Japan in 2004. We had Grand Anawa and the junior stars of Kanemoto and Tanaka defeating Kenogashin and Guido and Jado. And then we had Magnum Tokyo and Silver King defeated Nigel McGuinness and Chris Hero to retain the junior tag titles in 76. So there you go. Then we had Ogawa, Chono, and Super J. So I guess Ogawa is now kind of part of NWO Japan, even though that doesn't exist anymore. Defeated Mr. Wall Street. Yes. Mike Rotunda, Kensei Sasaki, and Bobby Roode. So yeah, that's interesting. Kashugi Sakuraba, the Gracie Killer, defeated Murakami in an 80 in an Anoki special. And then Tenkoji defeated Sekigun, which is just the New Japan Army of Nakanishi, and Oshinura, and Blue Justice, which is Azuka and Nagata in an 85. And then the main event, Riki Choshu defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. This is some Anoki ass booking, even though Moon is booking. But this is this is the exact type of booking that would hurt New Japan. So, yeah, interesting. Because, Tanahashi got a 92, Choshu got a 53, because Choshu is real old. So, yeah, this is the type of stuff where I might have to create a narrative to deal with it if they don't turn around their booking. So that's the first thing. Let's see here. What was the other thing? Again, just show you guys, MLW had their one of their big shows. Mark Murrow defeated Ron Harris. Jason Cross, which is William Jason Massengales, defeated Jimmy Raven at 65. BG James defeated Violent J. Ironic that in my MLW, Violent J is around. David Flair and Laz defeated JC Daz and John Phoenix in a tables match. And yeah, that's it. So MLW is real weird. I think, was there anything with this show? Oh, just that, there's all these kind of, crappy matches on the undercard of this first no show of their tour, and then Akiyama and Kobashi defeated Tado, Yasuda, and Taue in an 83. Yasuda, who we don't know, is the kind of fat guy who got a random strong New Japan run and around this time because he randomly won a shoot fight, and Taue is a weird-ass tag team. All Japan. I think. Oh yeah, 0-1 had their big show, so it was highlighted by Masato Tanaka defeating Yoshihiro Fujiwara. But the undercard is actually better, as we had the tribe of Otani and Ryo Sato defeated Akabono and Akira Hagata, so that's a weird-ass match. We had Shinya Hashimoto defeating Kinya Irigari in a match which got a 72. We had Scott Norton defeat Tom Howard. We had Otsuka defeating Chocobo Mukai. This is a weird-ass match, because Otsuka, is like a shooter wrestler guy, and Chocobo Mukai is a future Dragon Gate guy. So that's random. And, I think that's all for you guys. So AWQ had their, our women's death fed, again. Mischief defeated Ariel. Miss Molly defeated Madison Sinclair in a 30. We had Allison Danger and Counterpunch defeated Tracy Brooke and the Pink Girls in a 48. Life Saka defeated Cindy Rogers in a 48. Lucina Busick and Body Maxon Reign defeated Anti-Authority, which is Desire and Lacey, in a cage match. So hopefully, if the AI books well, one of these two girls will get a title shot. And the Social Scene, which is Anti-Social, Nikki Roxx defeated Beth Phoenix and Cheerleader Melissa in a 52 for the tag titles. So that's decent. And Phoenix is getting 52s, which is still lower than basically everybody else. And, so NWA Wildside had their weekly loop, so just go over that real quick, at least. So Claudia defeated Ray Gordy in a 56 in Gordy's Goodbye. And, that's about it as far as what you guys would care about, as far as our Dev Fed guys. I thought there was more, but maybe, I think I see the other stuff going on. Anyway. So OVW Weekly Loop, just to show you guys what's going on. Rico defeated Schulten. Homicide and Justice, which is Abyss, is still the OVW Tag Champions. CM Punk is still there. And yeah, that's about it. HW Weekly, John Cena finally got signed, but he's not actually getting booked all that much, so that's interesting. CMLL had one of their big shows, which got an 82. And so, of the big matches, let's see, and of things you guys would care about, let's see here. So yeah, Shocker and Las Guerreros del Infierno, which is Rey Guerrero and El Guerrero, defeated Latin Lover and Team Maestro, which is Aferno and Mascara Divina. So that was really good. Rey Mysterio Sr., Heavy Metal, and Miguel Perez Jr. defeated Cien Sierras, Mascara Magica, and Mr. Nebula in a 76. Abismo Negro defeated Dr. Wagner Jr. and Octagon to retain the CMO World Middleweight title in 87. And a probably match of the year contender, Astro Boy, who is Mystico, defeated Black Warrior in a ladder match in a freaking 97. So that's interesting. Hart, so our dev had in one of their big shows, Hot Hell, for 13,000 people. Okay, that's weird, but okay. As again, to go, Sonny Siaki defeated Claudio on the undercard. Let's see, other matches involving our people. Wrath Trial defeated Rick Michaels. Tony Gozina defeated Sean Phoenix. M.I. Smooth and Ken Anderson team up to defeat Marcus Militek and Chris Rombula. Jimmy Rave defeated K Graves. Again, K Graves is one of our regens. Keith Walker defeated Prince Nana and Johnny Devine to retain the North American title. And then Adam Jacobs defeated Lazarus, Ray Lepin, and Tag Toland and to retain the junior heavyweight title. So interesting. Let's see here. I thought there was one more interesting show. I think I'll just have to go out. So AAA also had a big show recently, which I didn't show you guys, but just because I'm doing it all. So a couple weeks back, they had Rey to Rays, which was highlighted by, so again, go over the big shows. Emilio Charles Jr. defeated Fino in a first blood match, which got a 78. El Dandy defeated Mascara Serrata in a 75. La Parka 2 defeated Warrior, yes, that Warrior, in a cage match, and to get a 76. Juvi defeated Blue Demon Jr. in a 96. And Super Kyle defeated El Connect to retain the Champions title. And in the main event, Cybernetico defeated Hector Garza in a 93. So, again, both the, what's what I'm looking for here? Both Mexican feds are doing real well. But yeah, I think, that's actually it. So, yeah, again, to put it over, we got the census. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I didn't mean for this to be go over everything happening in the world, but, there's some weird, interesting stuff happening, so I want to show you guys. But that's it for now. So we're on the road to, Sacrifice, right? Hold on. Is it Sacrifice or Spring Stampede? Yeah, it's Sacrifice. So, Sean O'Hare made his return after getting killed by Mesias to get revenge on Mesias. King Sharpe seems to be going a little off the rails after blocking Rey Mysterio Jr. We got new tag team champions. Ric Flair, is now been attacked by this new group led by Jeff Jarrett. But he did help Chuck Palumbo earlier. Jeff Hardy got a huge win. Booker T got a huge win. Canaan got a big win. So the Deadpool are sort of like the Deadpool went over Thursday night. So that'll be interesting how they react to that. But that's it for now. So if you enjoyed this show, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below what you're enjoying and not enjoying. And subscribe to this channel for lots of TEW 2020 content, including this series, my newly kind of rebooted MLW 2006 series. We're now on Division with MLW Fusion. Our WCW 1994 series, which we'll get back on the horse this week as we head towards Spring Stampede. And our WWE 2013 series, now heading towards Payback 2013, where we got Cena working feuding and other fun stuff happening. But that's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios.